So, hello and welcome back to the channel. And this is going to be a new series where I will show you how to create a model. For example, you can use it, and we'll do just that, for login purpose. But maybe we'll extend it a little bit, and I will show you how to build a model that can be used for actually anything. Some kind of information that you would like to present to the user, or maybe some kind of interaction. So I will try to show you how to build it so that it can match your needs. Okay, so let's take a look at the code, and we'll use, of course, React and TypeScript, so nothing new here. As you can see, I just bootstrapped a new project using good old command npx create react app. The name is Modal login, and then you provide the template flag with TypeScript value to use TypeScript out of the box. I will add the code to the repository that you can find. The link to the repository, yeah, it will be linked down below in the description or in pinned comment. So we can get rid of that, as you can see, because now if you're using React 17, I believe, or maybe this is because of the React scripts, you don't need to import React at the tab right here. We'll just run the project with npm run start. Actually, npm start should be sufficient. Give it a second. And I'm gonna run it right here. Okay, great. Let's open the DevTools right away. Bump the font a little bit. Okay, let's start with getting rid of almost everything. Okay, and let's start by adding stuff that we will need. And that actually is going to be style components, my default go-to when it comes to styling. So let's install that, and let's add types for it. Since we're using TypeScript, style components, that looks good. Okay, so first things first, we will need a way to trigger our model to open, and for the purpose of that tutorial we'll just prepare a simple button that changes the state, because as you can imagine, the model has two states, closed or open. But remember that you can trigger the model from a Redux by updating some kind of Redux state, right? Or using context. It's basically whatever. You just need the information passed to the modal that it should open itself, right? So we can get rid of that. And let's add a button. And I'm not gonna worry about styling it too much. It's gonna be just show model button, and then we need to build our state. Use state, and it should start with false. And this is taken from here. And it's gonna be is modal visible, and set is mod visible. Okay, and that's the issue we had previously. I don't know why is this happening, but you're supposed to install React or is it types React once again? Am I correct? Yeah, probably. And that issue will go away. Okay, yeah, and as you can see, everything works. Check that. We have our button at the top. Okay. So now let's create a function to trigger it, and that's gonna be toggle modal function that can use to open or close the model, and we will use the previous state to set that by just negating the state. And now it should change as we wish. One thing that you might notice is that we're not providing a type here, even that we could. Based on the starting value, false, TypeScript can infer the type to be Boolean, so that's really cool. And now we will start with our model. So I imagine it to present itself in the center of the screen, as model should, with some kind of overlay that is obscuring the view behind it and making the user focus just on that model part that we're presenting. So I'm going to start with something we'll call base model wrapper. Okay, and this is going to be self-enclosing element. Okay, so yeah, let's go with that. I will actually create new folder to store my files. I will call it Modal Popup. And let's start with base model wrapper.tsx. Okay, and now we need a way to display our pop-up, our model, like, and then we need a way to describe its context, its content, right? So what will be inside, because it will differ. Maybe you'd like to display a form, maybe some buttons, maybe just plain text. Okay, so I'll create another file, and this is going to be the model itself. And model will be the pure mechanism to present something on the screen. And if you don't know already, this can be done in React using the React create portal. Okay, you can read about it here, but basically what it does, it takes the components that you'd like to render out of the current structure of the DOM, and it allows you to present something in a different part of the tree, right? And that's what we'd like, because if you take a look, this is the root of our app, and this is our class app, right? And the button. And probably I would like the pop-up to present itself as a sibling of the root and a child of the body, not inside the root, right? Because this is a separate tree, okay? It's outside of the current rendering scope. So how can we do that? Well, we need to add another root, and you can do that by editing the index.html file, right? So Alongside here as a sibling, I can create another div, another ID, and I'm gonna call it modal root. Okay, and this is where we will mount our model. Okay, so let's see how can we achieve that. Let's create the model. I can be smart about it, can I? There's a cool shortcut that I have. And now there will be just one prop here, because when we are building our model, we need to give our user a way to close it. One obvious way would be a button like cancel or an X button in the corner of the model. But often is, and you see it implemented in many websites, that when user clicks on the overlay behind the model, it also closes itself, right? So I'm going to say that we'll pass a function here that I will call on backdrop click. Okay, can use it here now. And of course, we'll need children, right? To render inside of it, because this is just a frame for our model window, and the children, that will be the content that we'd like to render. So instead of just returning something here, right, we need to specifically call React DOM create portal. And here I will, for now, we'll just div, right, and maybe say something like, I don't know, I'm a model. Second argument here, that's gonna be where we'd like to mount it. So that's gonna be get element by ID, and this modal root, right? And here's a slight problem, because we have to import that module. So that's gonna be React DOM. Okay, and here, well, we are requesting our document to return an element for us to mount our model, but it may or may not exist given the ID, right? We might have forgot it, or we might get a typo here in the ID. But I know that this name is actually correct and this exists. Therefore, I can force the type to not be null. This is not a safe operation in TypeScript, but sometimes you can use it, right? There are other ways to go around it by using if or conditional rendering, but it's fine for now, I believe. Okay, and of course, if you click here, it's not a diva. It's not kind of opera. On backdrop click. Okay. So we're creating the portal to render to the different route, and we will trigger a function that is passed to a model. All right. And now we can use it in the base model wrapper. I'm gonna say, RH, because that's the shortcut. The props. Well, obviously, for now, we have to pass the information whether the model is visible. Okay. We need to pass the function. And that's it for now. And for the time being, let's just render modal with backdrop click. That goes from here. That goes from here. Okay, so does it match? but it should be enough. The problem is it will render always. So let's just check for the is modal visible prop. And if it's not there, return null. Okay, cool. Cool. I believe now is the time we can use it here. Let's see. Let's import it and let's satisfy the props. Is modal visible? That's part of our state. And on backdrop click, I can just toggle modal. Oops, not that. Okay. Well, let's see. What do we get? Can't resolve. Oh, we need to restart that. Work. Okay, let's see. So here you can see the modal root, which is empty for now. If I click, does nothing. Yeah, because we need pass that function here too on click. Toggle modal. Okay. And now, okay, I'm a model. And if I click somewhere, it goes away. So let's see, how does it render? For now, it does render inline, and as you can see, it does render on a different route. And that's why we needed the create portal function. Okay, so you have that. First, that doesn't look too good, so let's fix that real quick. What we need are a few things. Let's start with the container for our model. I'll create the model popup styles.ts file, and the aim is to create the model that is well presented in desktop resolution as well as in mobile resolution, but we'll start with desktop because it's easier. Okay, let's import site components, style components, obviously. And what we need is a base container, and I will call it model container. And it's going to be style div with background color. It's going to be black. Display flex direction is going to be column. Align items is going to be center, and position is going to be relative. And then I will specify desktop model container. And what is cool when using site components, you can extend one site component by using another. What do we need? Some quick and nice styling, and this is going to be border radius set to 7 pixels, some kind of box shadow, and this is going to be 0, 0, RGBA. Okay, half the opacity, heading, width, position, well, we don't need position relative, font size 26 for now. Okay, padding L, padding, desktop, check your typos. Okay, and for now, you can see that we're rendering, well, I'm a model here. Instead, you can render children. Is way better. Here we'll specify children just in a moment. Let's close that. We'll use desktop modal container here. And I imagine our model to have some kind of header that will explain to our user why did the model show up on the screen, right? So create header, model info, and this is gonna be type component 2. Okay, let's go. This is gonna be header. H3 is good. Style it nevertheless. White, big font size, say 35, align height 1 em, font weight. Saying doesn't matter that much. We're just trying to, make it nice, make it smexy, which is a combination of smooth and sexy. Text align center. This gives us that. Okay, let's see how. Okay, that, well, looks like something, but not so great yet. We'll add one more thing to our model, and instead of rendering a simple div as the main container component, we'll create here an overlay. It's gonna be styled div with. This is actually important. Background color, well, background color isn't that important, but what is important? What is important is the positioning of our overlay, because as I mentioned before, I'd like to position our model in the center, but the whole screen should be fixed and cover whole screen. So to do that, we will try going with position fixed, height, height, and width should be set to maximum, top and left 0. So now it cover the whole screen because of these properties. And now I'd like to center our model. So just center everything, right? And this should replace this. And now it looks like something, right? And if I click, yeah, that's one problem that we have to figure out. Because I can show it, no problem. And then if someone clicks on the overlay, it should hide. But if you click on the content, it should stay on the screen. So how can we fix that? We will add a div that will contain our children, and here on click, we can create a function inline. This is the click event. We can call stop propagation. If that should help. Yeah, so now the click event doesn't go up, and on backdrop click doesn't get clicked if we click on that div. Because you must be aware of the mechanism in JavaScript, in the DOM, called event bubbling. So if you click on child, the event will be propagated up and up to the body, going through all of the parent nodes, right? So this works here and this works here. Okay, that's pretty cool. I believe this is the right moment to end this episode. In the next one, we will continue on styling and making it look better. We'll add the X button here to also close the model, and we'll start working on our login form. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.